Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Tony Stark, Iron Man, issue number 2. If you're not going to get this this comic book for any reason other than the cover, then by all means, get the comic book. Like, oh my God, this is just a beautiful cover. Woo! Woo! The cover artist for this is Alexander Lorenzo. Awesome, dude. That was a variant by Mark Brooks. I didn't even see the variant. Really quick, Dan Slott writing. Artist Valerio Shitty. I'm sorry if I destroyed your name. I'm so sorry. Love you, man. Color artist Edgar Delgado. Letterer VC's Joe Caramonga. And dude, in my opinion, this was an amazing comic book. Let me just get that out of the way. Oh yeah, check it out. Look, advertisement for a watch. I'm gonna at least look at it. I'm gonna look it up online. Dude, if for nothing else, as amazing as this comic book was, the real superstar in here has got to be VC's Joe Caramonga. Like, there is so much with the different writing styles in here. One guy did all this? Yo, I don't know what you guys are paying him, but you're not paying him enough. That's for damn sure. There is a lot of character progression in here. Look, people complain that comics don't have a lot of character progression. Remember, not every issue can have character progression. There's only but so much that the character can progress. You know what I'm saying? Especially in a relatively short time. But Slott, since he's just starting with using these characters, he's going to be doing a lot of character progression. In these first 10 issues at least, right? In this issue, wow, you're learning a lot about what's going on. Bethany Caveman, I feel so bad for this girl right now. I feel bad for what she did to Jocasta also. She didn't deserve that. But Bethany Caveman, like, long-time character. I've got to do a 10 things about her because she's a very interesting character. Look her up if you get the opportunity. Tony Stark, look at this. We got the, Joe Rogan calls this the dick root. Like, what the hell, man? Come on, dude. I like what they did here. I like what Slott did here. Because at first, like, I get they're doing the whole thing. Oh, he created himself a new body. And, wow, an electrical engineer did that. I mean, he's more than just electrical. But, I used to be an electrical engineer. I can't create a new body. You know what I'm saying? So, like, come on, man. Come on. So, what do you call it? He makes a rock wall. And he starts climbing the rock wall, and he's just blowing away Rhodey. Rhodey's got some confidence issues, so that's there's that. But I don't know, maybe he made both their bodies equal to each other. But I feel like somebody who's in the Air Force, and look, I don't know that much about Air Force. I haven't hung out with that many Air Force guys. I was Army myself, and I know a rock wall, dude. Back when I was younger, I'm 43 now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not climbing up no damn rock wall today. But back in the day, I used to climb up a rock wall, rappel down another wall. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was called Tuesday. You know what I'm saying? So Rhodey should be able to take on these freaking rock walls with no problem. But seeing Stark screw up, trying to run up a rock wall for the very first time, he's not used to all this stuff. Nah, man. Like, I'm just thinking to myself, this is too much. This is too much. You can't have him be Captain America and all the other superheroes together. It's enough that he's got his armors that make him, the most versatile Avenger ever. But more than that, it's like making just Tony Stark also physically tough. I liked him when he wasn't that physically tough. When the best that he was when he kicked a Skrull in the face and was like, oh, thanks, Captain America. You know what I'm saying? For teaching me all that good stuff. All right, let's get out of here. Excuse me, that was awesome. I loved that. You know what I'm saying? But I don't want Stark to be more physical than that. Here, he's very physical. But Slott makes up for it because he makes him dumb. He's got massive amounts of IQ, not a very low, but low enough EQ. And that narcissistic complex of his makes him constantly screw up over and over and over again. And he's also a really bad businessman. I like that they're doing that. I like that they're doing that here. Great at building things, horrible at business. We're going to get to that in a minute. Anyway, I know there's a bunch of people out there, and I feel bad for you, son. People who don't like the whole, the robot morality issue and AIs, they deserve to be treated better, and, AI lives matter, you know what I'm saying, and things like that. Yeah. I actually enjoy that. Like, I'm sorry, just actually, hashtag sorry, not sorry. This is literally me trying to remind people that they've been talking about using innuendo in comics instead of just saying, hey man, black people don't have rights, women don't have rights, all the minorities don't have rights, homosexuals don't have rights. Nobody wants to hear that stuff, right? Nobody wants to hear that exactly being said. So what's Dan Slott doing? He's going back to the old X-Men adage and the way that comics used to always do things for the most part, and just say, hey man, AI rights. We're looking for AI rights. You don't know what it was like, you know, being trapped inside of an armor all the time and not being able to come out like a human or like an AI, a hologram or whatever, you know. This is the same stuff that reminds me of Star Trek Voyager, the stuff with the Doctor, you know, and Data trying to become more human in Next Generation, the old Star Trek TV shows. Like, this is that good to me. That's how good this is. I love this stuff here. So the people who are complaining about that, dude, seriously, you need to reassess yourselves. And I don't care who I'm offending this. Oh, I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying? Calm yourself down. This is exactly what you claimed that you want. Here it is, but you're so used to freaking arguing it. I don't like this and raging against. You're not raging against the machine. You're not raging against this machine. You're raging against yourself. You're raging for the point of raging, and you're going to burn out. Don't feed me your anger, dude. Recognize that you're a part of the dark side at this point. This is fantastic writing. This is that X-Men exposition, the X-Men exposition that I loved back in the 80s and the 90s, where, oh yeah, mutants, mutie was the N-word, you know, back then. They actually tried to do that, and that didn't work, but this is that. This is that. Yeah, I love this. I love this. This is great. And once again, Bethany Caveman. This is so sad. Also, I remember one of the things that I loved about those first couple of issues of the new Hulk comic that was the She-Hulk comic, but, you know, they just called it Hulk for a while, was that Jennifer Walters was dealing with PTSD. They wound up dropping the ball with that big time. I don't know if they were afraid of offending veterans. I'm a veteran, you know what I'm saying? And I don't have any problem. I can't tell you how many people I've met who have PTSD. And we all have it in some way, shape, or form. But what do you call it? When, like, there's some people who have it way worse than others. And I know people who have it really, really bad. You know what I'm saying? For me, a loud noise just sounds like it's going to remind me of gunfire or cannon fire of some sort. You know what I'm saying? That's it. I'm not going to, you know, completely freak out. I know people who completely freak out. And it's scary, and like your heart freaking bleeds a lot for these people. You know, these ridiculously brave people who have this happening to them. So I am not offended at all reading a story that's supposed to be dealing with PTSD. I like that Jennifer Walters was dealing with that, and then it was just handled like it was practically dropped. And I didn't bother reading anything after the 6th issue. I'm not going to go back and read those. The comic just wasn't good to me. Here, Dan Slott seems to be dealing with that. Seems to be talking about that with James Rhodes. And I'm digging that big time. I love that James Rhodes is dealing with this. Like, he ejects out of his, there's a fight, a battle that happens, and he actually ejects out of his armor because fire is used, and he's still thinking of that fight with Thanos. You know what I'm saying? I love that. Oh my God, I love that. And if there's going to be a character you're going to be afraid of, it should absolutely be Thanos. You know what I'm saying? That guy who will get right up in your face and smile. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my God, that's what I'm talking about. There's a character in here later who seems to have employed the Gauntlet. Does anybody remember the Gauntlet? They actually point out from the Initiative, the 52 Initiative, back when Tony Stark was responsible for killing Captain America. Yeah, I'm never going to forget that. He was responsible for the death of, yeah, I know there's going to be people, oh, he didn't actually kill. Dude, relax, okay? I read the comic books. We've all got our own interpretation of it. Anyway, yeah, the Gauntlet. Freaking, he was an awesome character. And I don't remember, I didn't finish reading the Initiative. I don't remember finishing reading that. I remember there was so many amazing things that happened in that story. I can't remember how that ended, and I couldn't remember if Joseph Green actually became a bad guy. You know what I'm saying? Either way, he's here, and he seems to be working for the bad guys. The problem is, when they go and make this Manticore armor, this is cool. This is Slott just like, yeah, I bet you weren't expecting this. We're going to be done with the War Machine for a little while because Rhodes can't be confined inside that armor where literally like it's touching up against your nose and stuff like that. But this new Manticore suit, which is basically a Transformers triple changer, you know what I'm saying? Land, sea, and air. No, those aren't seals. Those are triple changers. I remember them. I used to collect Transformers, all right? Astro Train, Blitzwing, the original two, yeah. And all those other guys who came afterwards. Don't even get me started on Six Shot. But the idea is, I've seen a freaking triple changer before. That's what this thing is, okay? At some point, it's going to turn into a giant robot. Prove me wrong, brother. Prove me wrong. But I dig that. That is an awesome idea. He's okay with because this is just piloting a device. He's used to that. He didn't have any traumatic incidents piloting something. But being inside that, that tin can armor, that triggered him. So this is cool. I like that Rhodey is dealing with that. Definitely digging that. The bad business deal that I was discussing earlier was that rather than just beating up the bad guys for stealing his armor, I'm sorry. I remember reading the first two Armor Wars comics. The issue, like the first Armor Wars was one of the greatest Tony Stark stories you're ever going to read in your life. And he handled things very differently than he's handling it now. It's like, oh, you stole my tech. Yes, but I made something that you really like. Yeah, so I guess I'll buy it from you. Yeah, that would be what I would do. Now you got all the money in the world. Rather than just beat up the bad guys and send them to jail for stealing my stuff and doing crazy stuff like, hey, look, this is practically treasonous. You know what I'm saying? The stuff that you're doing. No, instead, here's what I'm going to do. And I guess, maybe because the military was trying to buy stuff from her, but she did steal. For crying out loud. This is so bad. Anyway, this kind of stuff kind of hits a little bit personal for me. The idea of, the treachery and the robbery, the bribery, really, that happens in the industry, in the engineering industry. I worked on, when I was an engineer, an electrical engineer, I worked on one of the first two, there were two, WLAN, the wireless internet devices. And this was back in 98 and 2000. You know what I'm saying? In between those 3 years right there, I worked on the first two wireless internet devices. You know what I'm saying? Most people didn't even get into the internet until 98 at the earliest, sometimes later. And I was already working on wireless internet. And later on, I worked on miniaturizing GPS to be small enough to fit in your phone. So if you have a cell phone, then on behalf of me and those two teams I worked on, you're welcome. That aside, I have come across, I'm just simply going to say Asians, okay? There's an Asian company, and I come to find out that this is a culture in certain Asian countries that bribery is ridiculous. I don't want to say which country because there's going to be racists out there who can be like, see? I'm not interested in that. But the culture of industrial espionage is insane in parts of Asia. It's absurd. Like, to the point where, like, our morals as Americans and Canadians, I'm in Canada, as an American, our morals are very different. Oh, there's still bribery in certain American industries. Putting myself through school, I was a truck driver. And let me tell you something about bribery in the freaking shipping industry, all right? But in engineering, like when I've literally got somebody walking up, like, a group, who's monitored, and somebody says, somebody obviously goes and says to I find out later on, where's your bathroom? Where's your bathroom at? I'll be right back. And then he leaves, but then he comes up to me inside my clean room, comes into my clean room, doesn't even remember to put on the freaking lab. I'm in an ISO 9001 clean room. Doesn't even remember to put on his lab coat. You know what I'm saying? At least I'll grab a ESD static dispeller, comes walking in and saying, listen, I'm willing to buy a schematic for this device from you. And I'm looking at him, I was like, what? He's like, I don't have time. Take my business card, contact me, I will buy the schematic from you. We'll discuss a price later. And I'm like, dude, get away from me. Like, oh my God, I completely freaked out. Like, get away from me. I made a scene, and people are like, Bill, holy crap, these are guests. Like, get away from me. Like, I was infuriated, you know what I'm saying? And go up and telling people, wow, just wow. So seeing Tony Stark handle things like this, I was a little bit upset. Hopefully this is going to actually go someplace. I want them to be working with, I want him to have more dealings with this company, but buying stolen tech is whether it's been, changed or not, that's that says something to me. It's called enabling. Anyway, fantastic comic book. This is two reviews that I've done that have been as long as this review. So much food for thought inside of comic books like this. I love this. Dan Slott is doing an absolutely killer job. Again, superstar letterer. So many different... Oh, I didn't even get into Machine Man. Holy crap, he called people flesh bags. Anybody who thinks that no, Machine Man wouldn't say something like that, go and read Next Wave. Anyway, fantastic comic book. I love this. I can't wait to see all the crazy drama that's being set and established. This is incredible, incredible, incredible. Everything about this comic book is incredible. I can't wait to see Machine Man and Jocasta's journey, especially, think about this. If Machine Man is actually domestically abusing Jocasta, she is the progeny eventually of, she is technically related to, through brainwaves, Henry Pym. Think about that. Think about that. Dan Slott is effing awesome. This is a great comic book, guys. You need to be subscribing to this series. You need to be subscribing to this series. Have this in your poll box. That's real talk. All right, guys. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.